Endor's inhabitants established settlements throughout the moon's varied landscape, adapting their communities to the dense forests, open plains, and waterways that surrounded them. Among the most numerous were the Ewoks, whose villages were often built directly into the enormous trees of the forest moon. Their settlements ranged from small, isolated communities to larger villages with complex social structures. Bright Tree Village was perhaps the best known of these settlements. Located in the canopy of the Happy Grove, the village stood approximately 50 meters above the forest floor. Most of its huts clung to the sides of individual trees, while the homes of important elders, including Chief Chirpa, were carved directly into the trunks themselves. The ancient conifers were remarkably tolerant of the heat produced by fireplaces, allowing the Ewoks to maintain fires within their elevated homes without damaging the trees. Not every home was built among the branches, though. Some structures stood at ground level, including the residence of the Warwick family. The village itself was home to approximately 200 Ewoks, with its layout reflecting the community's social structure. The huts of the chief and other elders occupied the center alongside the place of sickness, and an open platform used for public gatherings. Families and unmarried females lived in clusters of huts surrounding this central area, while unmarried males and sentries occupied more distant dwellings below the main village. Above them, lookout huts were positioned higher in the canopy, allowing Ewok sentries to watch for roaming Goraxes. Higher still were launching sites used by the Ewoks' hang gliders, giving the village a vertical structure that extended from the forest floor deep into the canopy. Bright Tree Village was not the only Ewok settlement to make use of Endor's natural environment. Ewoks also constructed stilt villages over bodies of water, including settlements along places such as Lake Sui. Their ability to build in the canopy, on the ground, or over water demonstrated how readily Ewok communities adapted their homes to the diverse environments of the forest moon. Other villages had considerably darker reputations. Hanging Moth's village was an isolated settlement inhabited by cruel and vicious Ewoks, whose inhabitants were known to torture creatures they captured. Far to the south, Red Bush Grove was once an Ewok village located several days' travel from Bright Tree Village. Its history ended in tragedy when a lightning storm ignited a devastating fire that destroyed the entire settlement, sometime before the Battle of Endor. Every inhabitant was killed except for Leektar and Kuolkiich, leaving the village itself in ruins. The Ewoks were not the only inhabitants to establish permanent structures on Endor. Other peoples arriving on the moon sometimes brought very different traditions of settlement with them. When the Sannyasin Marauders crash-landed on Endor in 100 BBY, they subdued portions of the Endorian plains and established their own domain over the Dragon's Pelt Savanna. At the base of the mountain chain known as the Dragon's Spine, they constructed an enormous, gloomy, and untidy castle that became both their barracks and the home of their leaders, the self-proclaimed King Terak and the Force Witch Charal. The Marauders' fortress was built for security rather than beauty. Its square walls were constructed from stone quarried from the mines in the foothills of the Dragon's Spine, with enormous blocks hauled into place by blurgs, the Marauders' beasts of burden. The finished structure was square and clumsy, lacking any particular finesse, but its thick walls and sturdy construction made it a formidable stronghold, in contrast to the Ewok settlements, which seemed to grow naturally from Endor's forests and waterways. The Marauders' castle imposed itself upon the landscape.